Okay, so welcome to podcast number 1 of, I guess, the Jordan Kilganon podcast for now, until I think of a name for it. And my first guest is Chase, my brother Chase Kilganon. And yeah, might as well hop right into it and start asking you some questions.
Perfect.
So, number 1, a lot of people in the dunk world will be curious about this. Why did you quit dunking?
I guess this is like a two-part question. I quit dunking. I mean, I was getting injured a lot, as everyone in the dunk world probably knew. And that was really stressful for me because I honestly, it's what's funny is I think it was like those worked together because I was stressed. I kept getting injured, and then it was stressing me out that I was getting injured, and then it just kept going back and forth. I was young and impatient, which caused a lot of those injuries. But yeah, I started making music like probably a year before I quit dunking, and I just wanted to do it for fun because like I was so in love with EDM. Like the melodic bass genre was just like something I was obsessed with. Like I would go to the gym and I would like so look forward to just like listen to that full blast. Was like part of the motivation to go to the gym. It was just like so much fun. And then after the last time I got injured in Ottawa, I was actually doing a show with you at Carleton, and yeah, that's when I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I was like, I'm so sick of being injured. My adductor just like, it felt like a seatbelt just like unclicked, and my adductor felt like screwed. And I was like, man, I've rehabbed from so many injuries. I'm getting sick of it. And yeah, so then I chose to just do music full time, and I think what I was trying to say something else too about this. Oh yeah, another reason why I quit dunking, which is like honestly probably the biggest one now that I'm like thinking about it, because like sure, those are factors that help me get to the quitting, but like dude, the amount you watched dunking videos and like were obsessed with it, and like you would, I don't know if you remember, but like you'd be like, yo my god, like check this out, or you'd show me something, and then I would like literally not care. Like I did not give a shit. Like people, you would watch dunking videos and you would like, you knew everyone's dunks and I think I hardly have seen a lot of these videos. And like, it was rare that I would be like super impressed by a dunk or like something that would be like, you know, like really cool to me. Like, oh my God, that was like really, really cool. And so, yeah, I think the passion wasn't there. It was, what really carried me through the dunking actually was when I was younger. I mean, I always loved attention, especially when I was like super young. And I think I always fought for attention. I mean, especially with growing up with Grant. And so when I got that attention from dunking and that validation, I was like hungry for it when I was young. Like that's all I wanted. I just wanted to be validated, be cool, be like whatever. And then I grew out of that. I no longer, it didn't matter. Like I didn't put as much value of that in my life anymore. And so yeah, I just, all of that together was just like pretty easy decision to just let it go. Well, I wouldn't say easy. Not easy. Because it's cool being really good at something. It's really cool. And it's like traveling, going to China, like doing these, the 2 TV shows, you know, like I didn't really appreciate it at the time. But now that I'm like older, I'm like, those are really sick experiences that like not a lot of people get to experience. So that's pretty cool.
If you weren't riddled with so many injuries, and I know it was like a self-perpetuating thing, but do you think you'd still be dunking right now?
I think I'd be number 1 or number 2 in the world. Yeah, because what's interesting about dunking is, so here's the thing. I didn't have the passion for dunking specifically, but when I made up my mind to be the best dunker in the world, like I was obsessed with the process. Like I was like, you know, like how you can get obsessed. I wasn't obsessed with specifically dunking, but I was obsessed with the idea of becoming the best at it. Does that make sense? Like it's an interesting thing. And I went like so hard. Like I remember when I was going so hard, like I would feel so jealous of you because you were doing so many, you were like, well, first of all, I was injured all the time. So that made me feel jealous, but I was just like, I felt like I was working so hard, and I was like, why? Like I just kept being like, why am I not there? But then obviously the real answer was that I was like placing too much importance on being good right now, and it wasn't like focused enough on what the goal was. And so when I kept doing that, I kept being stressed, like, oh my God, I'm injured. Like, oh no, it's the end of my life. And like, that's actually how I felt at the time. Like whenever I get injured, like it's literally like the worst thing that could happen to me. Like, why me playing the victim? And then I'd get stressed, and then guess what? I'd heal from an injury, and then I'd go right back, hurt it again, because I have so much stress in my body. I mean, yeah.
That's really interesting. Because, yeah, to me, it's obvious. It's, you know, it's doing that for many, many years is the obvious answer as well, right? Which you were doing for a long time. And you being jealous of me is one thing. But, you know, I started at like 14. By the time you started getting into it, I was how old?
True.
You know? Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've gone like that sometimes with like entrepreneur stuff. When I'm getting into it, I'm like, want to make it happen right now, you know? Yeah. Instead of like, and it took time to fully understand, okay, this is a long game, you know? Mm-hmm. This is what it is. That's neat.
Yeah.
When did you first realize that music was more than just a hobby for you?
This is interesting. I feel like it was never like this realizing it was more than just a hobby. It was more like just deciding. You know, I made the decision that this is what I'm going to do.
Interesting.
Because I forget, I think is it Robert Greene? What's the book he writes? The Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I was just, not that, I haven't read that book, but I watch him on Instagram, whatever. And he was talking about passion, and how passion is not this thing you're like, that's innate in you. It's like something you can create, like something you can, which, I mean, that's how it was with me in dunking, right? Like, it's not like I was obsessed with that specific thing, but I became obsessed with another part of it. And honestly, that inspired me, and I was like, man, it's whatever I want to make it. And if I grind really hard, I was like, how old am I at the time? I think I was like 24. I was like, I'm young. You can make music forever. You don't need to be like, I mean, physically healthy. I mean, well, it does probably help.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I just decided, I was like, screw it. Let's make this my thing. I work as a server, so I'm like, I have the time to grind. I still making money on the side. It's like, whatever. Let's fucking do it.
That's interesting. Yeah, for me, I had the passion forever with dunking. But it is true that like for anybody, a lot of times when they're just good at something, they enjoy it. Right? But if you understand that you can get good at something and start to enjoy it, that's very much a thing. Like I now enjoy so many things because I've just gotten better at so many things. Mm-hmm. Things that I used to hate or whatever. Also, I think you, me, and Grant, and my dad, and our parents, and just Kilganon, we have the ability to lock in. It seems, yeah. We are obsessive.
Dude, that was so funny.
Yeah, we are obsessive for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could ask anybody, my girlfriend, everyone, friends, whoever, coworkers, they all know. Like I lock in too much sometimes, and it takes away from the rest of my life. But I wanted to answer something you had said. What was I trying to say? I don't know.
Instead of trying to be good now, like for right now, like trying to, you know, it's just like a thing that takes years. Are you talking about that part or no?
Oh, I almost just had it. Yes, I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah. And then I was thinking about my music and how I started with that. And it's almost the opposite, where I felt like I needed with dunking to be good now. Mm-hmm. And then with music, I started feeling like I'm never going to be good now. So I'm just going to play for the long run. But then I never started. Like I never posted anything. I did like very briefly, but like I could have been so much further ahead in the game if I didn't just like shelter myself from the world. And if I, you know, like with dunking, people got to see my journey, but that's because I was young. And this is how actually it works in my brain. Because when I was dunking, I was young and I wasn't expected to be that good when I was sharing. So the expectation, I was meeting that for people because I'm like, hey, I'm young, can still improve. And it feels like with music, I was too patient and I didn't like believe in myself enough at the time for the whole time I was like growing. And I'm just literally just this week is like when I've like started being like, dude, what the fuck? And I mean, obviously that trip had a big deal impacting that, but like I'm just sitting here listening to my old songs. I'm like, I like this. Like, and you know, I stressed over the mix of things for so long, like how my song sounds, how producers are gonna think my songs sound, how labels will think my songs sound. Oh, they're not professional enough. But then I'm like, dude, that's like part of the journey, and like, I just needed to understand that, you know. Needed to stop putting so much pressure on myself to be like the GOAT right away.
Yeah, that's interesting. I always compare everything to my dunking journey, right? I was just a kid just posting my dunks on YouTube, and who I was comparing myself to was people that were a little bit better than me all the time. And that's pretty easy to see, like, who's a little bit better than you. You know, who's doing the same dunks as you, but like on a bit of a higher rim. You know, that's the game I always played in my head. I don't know if everybody does that, but that's what I was doing naturally in my head. And then with you, with dunking, you know, you knew you had the ability to become like insanely good, so you were comparing yourself to, I guess, me and like other people there, and you wanted that now. But now it's interesting. You had it flipped where you know you want to get really great, but I still feel like you're comparing yourself to people who are like pretty god tier at like their
That have
things.
whole teams.
That have whole teams, and even the people in the group chats that you're a part of, like they're mixing the way that they can do things. You're comparing yourself to like the best aspects of them, I feel like often, right? Which is super interesting. Instead of just like, here's my art, like here's what comes from me, or even instead of comparing yourself to other people, it also doesn't feel like it makes sense to compare as much as dunking, because dunking is like it's more sport-like, it's more competitive. It is artsy, right? When you go to like the creating dunks and stuff like that, and like just expressing yourself,
But there's less diversification, I guess you could say, with dunking. You know, like you don't understand what I'm saying?
what do you mean?
Like, there's so much more expression that you can give out in a song, and like,
Right.
and how many different ways you could do it. Where like dunking, yes, you've proven there's a shit ton of different ways to do it, but like, how many total dunks are there? Like, how many total dunks are there that are different? It's probably like below what, like 5,000? I don't know. That's maybe even too high or too low. I don't know. And then music, it's like infinite almost. Like, you know, you could do an insane amount of things. So I just feel like you're right. That's all.
Yeah. Basically, it's just more on the art side, which feels like it makes it even more silly to compare.
And I agree. That's why I said that. It's dumb. It's crazy how like it's probably been like 3 years now that I've been like very hesitant on posting stuff, and like when I did, I felt super insecure about it, and it was like so hard to do. And like all it took was just like, I mean, we had a talk, and you to be like, hey, you're posting 7 days this week, and for me to be like, I've only done 3 so far, and I already feel like, what was I doing? Like, how did I not share any of this?
Yeah.
Like, my best song so far was that Jaws remix I made. Well, I mean, in my opinion, and I never even posted it, and it has the most streams on my SoundCloud, and I never even posted it. Like,
It's crazy.
and that was because of the insecurity. And this is also this is how much an expectation I have for myself. When he reviewed it, I actually have the video of him giving it feedback, so I probably should like post that somehow. But he like literally he listened to everyone's songs, said whatever, blah blah blah. Highest rating, he was giving out producer ratings sometimes. He's like, this is like a 7, whatever. And then I was the last song I believe he did on the stream, and he's like, see, this is like an 8. And he gave me an 8, and I was like sad about that. I was sad that I got an 8 and the highest score in the whole stream, and I was like, because I also got roasted a bit, because he's like, oh, this doesn't make sense. But I mean, that's just his opinion. And the fact that I was just like taking in all of the negatives from that is insane. When I didn't just sit there, because even though I remember I was saying what you guys wanted to hear, because I was talking to you and I was saying all the positives, but I didn't feel that. I felt like I just got shit on. And that's fucked up. Like, I feel like right now, if that were to happen again, I'd be like, yo, hell yeah. That's huge. I've already gotten so much better. You told me that. You said it was huge. And and you know, I feel like I knew, like deep down, I knew that, but I still let it like take over my body and feeling like shit and feeling like I'm not good enough because I got an 8. Like an 8 is pretty sick coming from a guy who's a legend, you know?
So what's changed?
I don't know. Actually, that's a really good question. What has changed? Actually, I do know this answer. It was when we did our round table meeting.
Mm-hmm.
When I got roasted by 8 other men, and they told me everything that they criticized me, and they told me everything they think I need to improve on. And I mean, most of them are kind of the same, but I feel like the one that really stood out was what you said to me. And for some reason that flipped a switch inside of me for my whole life. Like really interestingly. And what did you say? And this is like honestly something that's like doesn't even really have to do with it, but I don't know, just paying attention to that made me realize how much I did that in the rest of my life and how much other things in my life I wasn't doing accordingly. And what did you say? You said that, you know, I could be a hothead, which is true. But I'm also really good at apologizing, which this is something I've been told multiple times. Like even my coworker, Riley, he was like, you know what, Chase is a hothead, but he'll quickly come back to apologize, which like I respect him for. But then you told me, you're like, sure, it's great, you could apologize, but you still keep doing it. You still keep getting hot-headed, and that like you need to get better at that part, just like not getting there. And
the other aspect too is like,
yeah, I want to hear
those times between being hot-headed and then saying sorry. It doesn't make those times in between that just disappear.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It doesn't just resolve it. That's what you said.
Yeah, it's like, you know, those things add up over time. It's not like, oh, everything's always better if you just keep doing it and doing it again and again and again, right?
Yeah, which I realized in my relationship was a big problem, and then I started realizing how much I did it just in all of my life, and then I started thinking about. I think that's what just got the ball rolling for me, thinking about like what else I was doing. I probably shortened my life by like 5 years this year. 5 years this year. That makes sense. Dude, I think I've pulled like 25 all-nighters.
It's crazy.
Like just making music and like feeling, and you want to know like this is actual insanity.
Yeah.
Like making music and feeling like there's a rush to release the music because I posted one story about it and I felt like people were going to be expecting it of me, even though nobody was like even paying it. Like some people probably didn't even listen to my story. And then that made me feel like I need to get this done. Like the amount of impatience, again, falling back to like the old ways. And then, yeah. And I think it's like, it's actual insanity. It's like feeling this expectation from people that they don't even have. And then letting that overtake my whole body. Like that's actual insanity.
So it's oftentimes other people, like you're thinking about other people pretty often, it sounds like, in the past.
Well, the reason I'm realizing this is because I'm just reading the beginning of the Mr. Nice Guy, and yeah, it's the amount that I let other people dictate my life, because I've always, I mean, when I was younger, I just wanted to feel validated all the time because I felt like I wasn't when I was a kid. I was, but I wasn't by one specific person. And that made, it's obviously built tendencies in me to do that with people and to want to be liked and to not, seem like a failure and to hide my failures, which I'm really good at. But that's also like something I need to address and get better at. And to not care about, like I got to a point in dunking where I didn't care about that stuff anymore. Like Christian got me to a place where he's like, no, dude, share what you got to share. People who don't like it aren't going to like it. People who like it are going to like it. You just got to be you. And that's the key part right there, is being me. And then the amount of times that I'm letting someone else's expectation, which by the way, doesn't even exist, overtake my life is like, if I were to just stop and look and be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I would have maybe saved a couple of years of my life. Honestly.
Interesting. So with that, with anybody who has that issue, how would you encapsulate that advice for them or to your past self?
And you want to know what's interesting? I know so many artists that are like not like at the next level yet, but they're good enough to be. Like I follow so many of them, and I can feel it from them. Like they have what I have. I mean, there's a guy from Sudbury. I don't mean to call you out, but he's an exceptional producer, and he has been apparently since he was like really young. Like exceptional. His DJ name's Favorite, and like his production is next level. Like it's like Skrillex level. Like it's actually insane. I don't even know if he's posted a song, maybe like one. But I mean, on SoundCloud he has a decent bit, but on Spotify I don't even think he has a Spotify. And he keeps posting all these IDs that are actually insane. We have a song that we started together with another guy, and his part is insane, and then we just never finished it because he had disappeared. And I think that people like him and me and a lot of artists struggle with that because I feel like it feels very personal with music. It feels like if I'm sharing this and someone doesn't like it, that hurts. But how would I advise them? I would advise them, how would I package this advice? Okay, you actually did it good for me. You're the reason it was easier for me because what did you say? You said something like you've never had that feeling of like, what did you say? That feeling of like the fear of posting or like the caring about the likes or like whatever.
I don't know specifically what I said, but I mean, I'll transition to what I think with like, let's say music specifically. And because there's times where, let's say I share my music with, whether it's you or somebody else or a friend or whatever, like something I've made, and I know it's not quality level. So I know that, whatever. But if somebody doesn't like it, I instantly go back to like what I feel, and I think back to a moment, especially if it's a song I really like and they don't like it. I think back to like when I was making it, I was like, and I was moving. I'm like, that's okay that they don't like it. That made me freaking move. That made me feel stuff. That can't take that away. That's how I view it in my head. Like I go back to that every time. You know, I'm like, that's enough right there. That's why I made it, because it made me freaking get pumped. That was sick.
See, that's cool. And I've heard this from you multiple times, and I know that. But that still never made me like change it. Do you know what I mean? I think the only thing that for me,
like, have you like, what's the process for you? Like, have you tried that mentality where somebody says something and then you go back to thinking about how it felt, like how good it felt in the moment of like when you liked your own song?
So I have two things I think, yes.
And does
like
anything happen?
Okay. I have done this a lot.
And what happens?
But it's just in my head. And like those feelings could come and go. You know what I mean? So like I could practice this a decent bit, but then it still doesn't take away from the feeling of like, I still end up going right back to the same place where I'm like, oof, like later on at some point. I think that what I have here makes the most sense is that when you really look at it, you need to stop. Like, this is the most important thing, actually, like for sure. Stop looking at what your goal is like right now and start looking at what your ultimate goal is. Because you not sharing your shit, that's if your ultimate goal is like, I don't know, playing one of the biggest festivals or whatever it is, like you are stopping yourself by not sharing your stuff, like hard. And so if you stop focusing on like how you feel right now and start just focusing on, okay, what do I need to do? And now it looks more like, okay, I need to, like, this is work. This is not like how I feel. This is work. And so I think that's really important, is to like feel deeply when you make the music and write it with how you really feel, but then separating that when it comes to like the sharing of it and the business side of it and the whatever. It's like, I have this goal. How am I going to meet this goal? And stick to that plan. Make a plan, stick to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It makes me feel like, I don't know, you hear a lot of people where it's just like, you just got to work hard. You just got to work hard. It's like, yes, that's like a prerequisite. Like you can't do really anything without working hard. Can't make anything happen. But the amount of people that I know that work their butts off, and sometimes for even years, and like this every person you're talking about, so I don't know them, but what's holding them back is what? Just limiting beliefs? You know, it's not holding them back from making great music. They're making great music, right? But in terms of like being more known and like, let's say, potentially making a full living off it, which I don't know what they're doing for a job, but if they are doing music for a job, they'd be able to make music even more. That's always my thinking, right? Like I would want to make my music a job so I can spend more time making music.
Yeah, you told me that once, and that was really inspiring.
Like, I don't know, you're working how many hours per week? And that could all be music instead?
Yeah, that was my inspiration.
That's pretty cool. That's my thing. Like, so to me, if I'm making music, I'm not a producer. I plan on trying it later on, but when I'm making music, I'm genuinely making it for me.
Yeah.
It's all for me. Me. And I'll share it. That's like fine. Like, show my friends, stuff like that. And that's good enough. But I know that when I don't have any limiting beliefs, for the most, I have some obviously, but like not a lot of these other common ones. So when I do start making music, I will be fine to share things. So as I'm just making stuff for me and also just like tossing it out there, by symptom of me just naturally not having a limiting belief or just putting it out there, maybe I'll get myself some gigs. Maybe I'll like go play some shows. Maybe I'll get signed to a label. Maybe, but like, there was not even a chance of that. Imagine, so me, I was a dunker and I dunked nonstop, yes, but what else did I do? I posted nonstop. I shared nonstop. I didn't have any huge limiting beliefs. Yes, it was tough to deal with, like the negative comments. Sometimes people, talking trash online. That's just gonna happen. The bigger you get, it's gonna happen.
That's part.
Might as well get used to it now.
I was just about to say, that's you need to go through that though. You need to accept that at some point. So it's kind of good that you had that early.
Exactly. But anyways, yeah, it's just interesting to see, like, the limiting belief thing is like, it's just monstrous for like crushing a lot of people, like a lot of people's dreams.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Yeah, man, I feel like so many, and you know what's funny is I feel like so many producers, like I maybe no, you know what, this is how it goes. I see so many producers out there who are really good at what you just said is that no limiting beliefs, post, share, and their music is not nearly as good as these other guys. But guess who's bigger? Guess who has more fans? Guess who is now living off music because they just put themselves out there. And I can feel like the envy from like other producers and myself of like these people and being like, oh, like they're not even that good. And you like feel that in your head, right? You're like, oh, what the fuck? But then you're like, but now like I've changed that. Like, even though that's a little voice in my head, I also more loudly am like, good for him, man. He's doing what he needs to do, and I should be doing that. So
yeah, like, again, I imagine me as a dunker. I got just as good as I did now my whole life. Same process, but I just stayed home and I didn't post a single thing. I would never get hired. I would just stay in Sudbury. Who's going to hire me?
Who's going to care?
Nobody would even know I exist, which is what's happening with so many of these producers. And now, because I posted myself out there, I got to go to NBA All-Star Weekend, do my dunk in June, got to do the dunk with Gary Payne. I got to do dunk contests and win and get my name out there. And so at the end of the day, I'm where I am today in terms of like making a living. And I'm probably like the most known, most popular pro dunker ever.
Probably. I don't even think it's close, but yeah.
And in terms of like, and the highest paid dunker for like dunk events and stuff like that, none of that would have happened if I didn't just like post all the time. So essentially, I'm an influencer. Essentially, if you want to make your job a living as a producer, you got to be an influencer as well and be posting all the time. Also, I'm talking out of my butt. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a producer, but that's what it seems like. Or you have to be backed by like a team of people who do that for you. It's one or the other. Somebody's doing it. Somebody is doing it.
So I have two things to say. One, answering you being an influencer. Not only are you all of these things, like the best, the most paid, blah, blah, blah. More importantly, maybe not more importantly, but equally as importantly, you are like, you are such an inspiration to so many people because of that. Like, without that, you're not allowing yourself Like if you didn't do that, you stay in Sudbury, no one could get inspiration from you. No one could gain this drive from seeing you do crazy shit. Like no one could be like, oh, I could do crazy shit too if I really tried really hard, you know? And especially people who know your whole story of like how you weren't that good at the beginning, like that's sick. And you're robbing people of being inspired if you didn't do that.
Fair point.
And that's also what Christian tells me all the time. He's like, you are robbing people from the experience by not sharing your stuff, of following you through your journey and being inspired by the journey. Mm-hmm. And he said, people don't care if you're not the best right now. It's like growth is what they care about. Like, and you'll only have people who follow you because they want to follow you. And yeah, I'm going to go back to your other thing you said about the producers, the sharing stuff. It's interesting because I feel like there's a way that people think about it, right? They go, I'm an artist. I don't need to be an influencer. So that's like a big one, right? It's like, but I'm a real artist. And like, it's funny because Zach Gray, he's a guy who has, he's a singer, a phenomenal singer. I think he produces too. And I'm pretty sure he produces really well too. Anyway, and he always shares stuff about this, about how you should be an influencer as well. And
should or shouldn't?
Should,
okay.
For sure, yeah. And like I think it's very rare. I mean, he says it pretty meanly, not meanly, but just forwardly, I guess. Like, you know, you're not all gonna be the most genius like artists out there. Like you're not all gonna be those people. Like the next Millennium, the next Seven Lions, the next John Bellion. Like John Bellion is a really good example of that.
The wizard.
He's crazy. The shit he just did is crazy too. But yeah, so like, I mean, I know that I'm not that. I didn't grow up playing instruments and stuff. Like I still don't play an instrument. Like I just produce music. I draw my notes in. So it's like, yeah, I do have to like, I think that it's important to, I mean, it's a skill to acquire too. Like people need to stop looking at it like this, like thing like, oh, I'm not going to do that because I'm too good to do it. It's like, why not get better at something else, you know? And like, it'll be even cooler because then say, because a lot of people, you said the team thing, they wait. They're like, I'm such a good artist. I'm just going to wait for someone to discover me. It's something that's access to. And it's like, they're not coming for you, bro. They might be, but the odds of it are slim. Like it's not often. I think it's cool to be optimistic and think that will happen. I think that's like actually important.
Yeah.
I think it's an important belief. But it's also important to think like, okay, how do I make myself most available to reach that?
Yeah, like you want to become a great artist so you can be discovered, but how are you going to be discovered if you're never posting your stuff that much? You know, like if the more you post, the more you increase your chances and your opportunities of being discovered.
Yeah.
Like when I was jealous of all these other pro dunkers that were getting hired for dunk events all the time. And I felt like I was as good or better than some pros at this point. I was like, why is nobody flying me out? Why is nobody picking me? And my mentality was, I'm just going to get so good that they feel like they have to.
That's what happened.
Yes, but I also still posted nonstop.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
I did that,
is this
and I posted
2015
nonstop.
era? Is that what we're talking about? 2015, 2014?
13, yeah.
13. Yeah, I mean, how could you not when you were all over social media everywhere? How could you be like, because then people are just like, hey, we want Jordan Kilganon now. Because you were so big online, it's like, okay, we have to bring him out.
Yep.
Which like, especially as someone who's from Canada, that's pretty important, you know, just getting, because then they'll, you know, it's not as easy to go to places in the States, do contests, but you could just join in or whatever. Yeah,
and I knew all the people who were running like all the dunking channels or like hiring people for events. They were all watching me. They were watching me since I was young, like young, you know, like since I was doing like driveway dunks, you know what I mean? Even commenting on my stuff. So I knew that they were watching, but that can't happen if I'm not posting all the time, you know? I put it in their heads since I was like freaking 16, you know?
Yeah, I do know. And then it's funny because what's interesting to me about my journey is like, I'm so weird, man. Like with dunking, I literally I was the opposite of what I for like 3 years in music, I hardly posted, like very, very rarely about music. I was in my head. But then when it came to dunking, back when I was like 22, 23, dude, I was like annoying on social media. I posted so much. Like about everything. My story was like, I had like 15 stories a day showing everybody what I was doing all the time. And I feel like it's interesting how I just fully got so lost in this music thing that I just like, I felt so much shame, which is crazy. Shame over things that weren't even real. Like like, if I'm being more specific about what I just talked about earlier, but like this expectation that people don't even have of me. And I felt shame that I wasn't good enough. And yeah, it's just it's an interesting thing because like it's an interesting thing because I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough at mixing, whatever. And then I'll go listen to some of my favorite songs from when I was younger on SoundCloud. And I'm like, these are mixed shittier than mine, and I loved them. It's like, who cares? You know? Like, who cares? And I'm only going to get better, so it'll be cool. People could follow me as shit sounds better and better. I've already been told multiple times that every time I release something new, it's like way better. So it's like, dude. And I have like, what? 80 songs that I just haven't shared at all. Like, they're not like fully complete, but they're pretty much complete. If I really wanted to finish them, I could. So
Yeah, I'm still curious to know, like, what's that, like, big click moment why you're more fine with posting right now?
a big part of it is just getting other shit in my life figured out. And it's like almost like I'm like doing this. And I'm just like no longer seeing things. I'm no longer like, I feel like I'm just seeing what's real right now. And I've had another moment in my life like this, and it was when I read The Power of Now. I didn't understand a thing about the book. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Eckhart? Like, what the fuck are you saying to me right now?
Yeah, I feel that.
And it's funny, I read the second book first, The New Earth. And, I read the second one first. And first 3 quarters of the book, I'm like, bro, I have don't think? What the hell are you saying to me right now? Like, how do you not think? And then, I swear to God, it was like the most crazy. Like, I used to be the biggest simp, the biggest, like, I did everything people wanted me to do. That's all I ever did. I was like so hot-headed, so angry all the time. And then out of nowhere, I was like, oh my God, I get it. I was like, I get it. And then everything became so much easier. I stopped caring so much about what other people thought. I still did, but it got a lot better. And I started practicing all this stuff, and it was just like, it literally was like the biggest moment ever. That's like the biggest moment of my life. That and meeting Christian. And it kind of feels like that with this. I feel like when I said I was in for the roundtable meeting, or for the initiation, I knew when I was in Florida, I had this thought, and I said, I had so much resistance towards like starting to play shows, towards like releasing a lot of music, towards like, just like reaching my goals. So much like anxiety about it. And then when I said yes to that, I was just like, I just started, like, I was looking at it from like, oh, it doesn't sound so bad. I just flipped a little bit of a switch. I said, it doesn't sound so bad. Just like actually being in a place where people are going to force me to face my fears and do the shit I need to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound so bad. And then we did it. And I was like, damn. The only problem with that is that I waited. I was like, like subconsciously, I knew, I thought about it. I was like, yeah, when that comes, I'm going to dial in. Like, I'm going to lock in, But thankfully I put myself in that position to where like I'm gonna be in that position where I'm gonna fucking lock in. But then so I had to wait, and then the initiation happened, and then I think it was like known to me that like, okay, now no more excuses. I'm here. I need to fucking get my shit together. So I just started getting other shit together in my life, and then it started not seeming so bad. Like honestly, I fixed up like certain things in certain relationships. The way I would look at myself when talking to people, it started being a lot different. And like, how do I describe that? Very recently, I've been catching myself a lot in like conversations. Oh yes, catching myself a lot in conversations, feeling like I'm trying to say something that will get someone to like me, or like will make them feel, or it'll make me feel like I am seen in higher regard to them.
Yeah. You're bullshitting.
I wouldn't necessarily say bullshitting, because I think it's like, I don't bullshit. Like, it's not like a lie. but there's effort in. I'm putting effort to get validity.
Yeah. I guess I'm just using one of your past words when you were talking about it. That's all.
You know, like the fighting for feeling important and feeling like feeling noble, which is interesting. And I'm trying to stop that and just like I'm literally just guiding myself away from that, which is guiding me back towards to where I was when I read that Eckhart book, which was like realizing all I need to do is just be me. I just need to be me. That's it. Like that's all I need to do. People will, if they don't like it, that's okay. But like really be me and know who me is and who me wants to be, you know?
So is it just some kind of like shock wake up call kind of thing, and cleaning out your closet kind of thing, and just something that like forced you to like step back for a second and see the bigger picture? Because, you know, the initiation is a pretty like jarring moment, you know what I mean? Maybe it's enough to shake you out of it for a second.
So yes, but here's the thing, right? I think that if I'm going to answer this question, I can't really answer it relating to music. I think I need to answer it relating to how when I was dunking and when I made that shift after the Eckhart book, because then I became that person. I already knew how to be that person when it just happened now. Like I already knew how to post all the time. I already knew how to do all that. So that was, instead of it being like a shake and wake up call and like, oh, I discovered this new thing I need to do. It was just like, no, like I need to just go back to being who I was. And I think being who I was, I'm trying to think back of when I read the book, that just was like, yeah, the most important thing with that was, if I'm going to answer your question, it's doing things for myself and like believing in myself and like self investment. Like just like, dude, do your shit. Like be disciplined, do the things you need to do. And like it sounds dumb, but like those small things, like even just like at home doing my dishes, making sure my environment is clean, then making my music. It's like just so much easier. Sure, there are times where I've been like gremlin to like 3 days up straight and I've made some sick music, but was it worth it?
Yeah.
Very rarely do I feel like it was worth it. And honestly, Grant has a good point. He's like, dude, if you just like slept and then like went right back at it, I guarantee you it would have been even better. He's like, you're because there's so many times I've like mixed a song for like 18 hours straight. Do you know how redundant that is?
And
you can't hear anymore at that point.
And the rest of your life starts to suffer on top of that, which probably makes your music worse.
Which piles onto the future music, which piles onto my future happiness, which piles onto my future music. It's just like...
Yeah. You know, it was a big realization for me, which is similar to you realizing like it's doing everything for you. I always had this idea that I want to make a difference in the world, right? I was super... where I'm like, I'm doing all this just so eventually I can give this all back and like try to make as big of a difference in the world as I possibly can. It's not a big thing forever.
Yeah, I adopted that from you.
What's that?
I adopted that from you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, we're so cool.
Well, yeah. Problems with that, but...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was the irony what I said.
Yeah. So, yeah, when I stepped back and realized that I'm one of the people on the planet, if I'm trying to make a difference in the world, and I only make me better and make me enjoy life more, that counts. Like, not because... Forget the ripple effect.
Whoa! That's not what I was expecting to hear. That's cool.
Forget the ripple effect.
That's cool.
There's no ripple effect. Just you. The world is now better. You've made a difference because... And the world is now better because you are enjoying life more. You are better. That, to me, I was like... Especially, like, after doing all this, you know, religious stuff I was looking into, like, you know, and, like, the Power of Now stuff. What's the other one called that I like a lot? That's...
Power versus Force?
No, that your friend also liked.
Wait, a book? Oh, The Untethered Soul.
Untethered Soul, that kind of thing. So... and like through meditation and kind of realizing like I'm not this Jordan thing, I'm this thing witnessing the Jordan thing.
Yeah.
And then just seeing like the bigger picture, I'm like, if I'm not even me and I'm trying to make a difference in the world, if I make me better, the world is now better because I'm one of the people. I'm like, that was like a big moment for me. And since then, I started treating myself like a friend. I started like, because I would often be like quick to sacrifice myself for other people. And then when I realized that, I'm like, I will start standing up for myself. So somebody would say something, and before I would just say nothing and just take it. And now I'm like, no, I'm just stand up for myself. Like, no, I don't like that. Even if there's like conflict, because in the past, if it's conflict, that's fine. I'll take the shit, whatever. But if they said something to somebody else that I cared about, no, I'm speaking up. But now I'm finally doing that for myself, and that was like a huge moment for me. So I'm finally treating myself like a friend. And
really fucking cool.
Yeah, that was a huge, huge moment. And since then, I've been a lot more selfish, really, in the classical term, selfish. And I honestly feel like, I haven't read the No More Mr. Nice Guy book, but I feel like that's going to be a big portion of it, is something to that effect or whatever. Like, just people pleasing everybody.
Yep.
And I feel like I've gotten better at helping other people since then. I'm less of a hypocrite, right? Like, what are you doing telling other people how to like live their lives when all you're doing is sacrificing yourself for everybody all the time? Like, guy, like, it's just hypocrite, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I have so much more in me to like give out. So anyways, yeah.
It's funny you say that, because Christian basically told me what you just said, but an analogy, and this was a long time ago. And to make it more specific about what was going on at the time, this was when I early was dunking, and I had problems with insecurity of posting myself with no shirt on. I felt like, I don't even know how it was, I forget, I just felt like, I was like, wow, people are going to care and they're going to comment, and that like worried me so much back then. And he was telling me, he said, or what was it, that I'm going to look like, oh yeah, that I was going to look like a douchebag, like a cocky, whatever. And he goes, this was so interesting. And this is just the beginning of the story. And he goes, isn't it cocky to think that you're going to look cocky by posting yourself with no shirt on? I was like, that's interesting. Like, that's true. Like, isn't it? If I'm going to look like this cocky person, it must be pretty cocky, because I must think that I'm going to be, like, look like something, you know? It's an interesting thought. Anyway, and then he continued on with this lesson about that, and was saying how when you have a log and you have fire, he's like, the bigger the flame, the more people you can warm.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're just keeping your flame real low, you're not going to warm a lot of people. So,
and when you're transferring a flame from one candle to another, the main flame doesn't lose anything.
it's pretty sick. But yeah.
Tik Tok Analogy.
Wow. My
TikTok's great.
So sad. But yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, and if someone didn't understand the relation there, that was just Jordan realizing that he's one of the people on Earth focused on himself, but by doing that, his flame's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, his aura. And then guess what? That rubs off on people. And
yeah,
that's only good for the world. So
yeah, bigger ripple effect.
I had one more thing to say. My motto used to be, you were saying, I was like being selfish. My motto used to be selfishly selfless. And then selflessly selfish.
Explain.
Well, because sometimes I'm being selfish. It's like the glass half empty, half full, right? It's like filling my own glass so that I could fill other people's glasses. And then also filling other people's glasses because it fills my own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
But I need to fill mine first. That's the only thing. Because if I can't fill mine first, the second part can't happen.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was my motto. And then it disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, so this goes into my next question. What are the dangers of obsession? That's something me, you, and Grant know all too well. But
depression. Wow. Yeah.
I didn't laugh. Depression isn't funny.
Jesus. Oh, I'm offended. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, especially with like music, oh my god, bro. Like I mean, I've said it earlier. It was like 25 all nighter or something. I might be highballing or low. I don't even know. Like, but
It's
you can
disgusting.
ask any one of my coworkers how much they hated seeing me come to work when I didn't sleep. Like they were just like, dude, like everyone cares about me so much at work, and they're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I knew it was dumb, but then I would bullshit my way into being like why it's important, even though I never even fucking released those songs that I would work on overnight. Like actually insane. And yeah, I mean, obsession could just it could take away from the rest of your life, and when you take away from the rest of your life, you're actually taking away from what you're working on with your obsession. You know what I mean? So if you're not, which is like filling your own cup, right? Like if you're not like if you just keep like emptying your cup into one thing, then you're not getting any. You're not like living at the time, man. Like that's I was robbing myself of life for like 3 years or like 2 years, maybe not three. The first the 1 year I was fine, so it was probably 2 years. I wasn't living my life. I wasn't enjoying things. Like if I was doing things, I was always just thinking about like my music. Like I never even could like tune it out. Like
Yeah.
it was insane. Like I wouldn't hang out with friends. I wouldn't do whatever, and like it was just like super unhealthy. And then I was like, bro, like what's really true is you only ever have right now. And it's like sure you need to work on things for your future, but like I gotta still enjoy my life. You know, like I gotta still fucking do things I enjoy. So yeah, that's the danger is you can get too caught up into one thing and then ruin the rest of your life.
Yeah, so essentially balance, although I want to be careful when I say that. I don't want to imply that like there is such a thing as like a correct balance. There's a correct balance for each individual. Right? Like your balance and my balance will look different than like the average person. Like it'll
Oh
be
yeah.
a disproportionate amount of time doing our craft, right? And obsessing over this thing. But still some time on the relationship, still some time sleeping, still some time like eating and exercising. But the majority is this big thing, and that is our balance, right? That's crazy to think about. Is like, here's our life. We're doing like this much of it as like, or you're doing this much of it as your craft. And you're like, no, I need to take this up too. Like, that's kind of interesting. You just need to take out, like, it's already most of your life. And you just got to make it take the rest of it too. Like, it's interesting.
And what's also okay, actually more specifically with obsessions with music, if because it's obviously specific to me, is like, dude, the whole reason I began making music was because I've always wanted to help people just like you did. And my goal with music was to be a medium for people to feel their emotions more, like more deeply, or to feel them at all. You know, like some people have a really hard time feeling things, and sometimes like music can bring that out of them.
Interesting.
That's like that was the whole goal with it, you know? And I'm robbing so much emotion from my music when I'm just like destroying my life. I mean, sure, some people here's the thing, some people write like breakup songs and blah 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 blah. I don't play an instrument and don't sing. I don't think it's going to be very helpful if I'm depressed to write music. I'm going to be like, instead of like feeling and writing and singing something, I'd be like clicking a note at a time, and like you can't feel that, you know? Which I'm learning the piano
Interesting.
now. It's my goal for the quarter. So
Interesting.
I will be able to do that, and I think I'll be really good at that, honestly. I'm not the worst singer in the world. Not great though, but not even good, I don't think. But still, I think I could be really good at like creating stuff with that. And I'm robbing people when I'm be obsessing over something that's taking away from my life, making me sad, and then I'm like not able to put what I really feel into my music.
Beautiful. So, with where you're at now, what's the dream and like who do you want to become?
My goal, and I didn't even. It's funny because you guys, we did this at a Mandela meeting. Made me be more specific about my goal because I remember my goal originally with Christian was to make a living from music so that I could just make music all the time. That's all I wanted. And Christian was like, "That's a shit goal." He's like, "That's brutal." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "That's so small. That's it? You're gonna stop there?" I was like, "Well, that's a good point." But he's like, "It's a good goal, like stepping stone, but that shouldn't be your goal. Like you need like one definite, like final goal that's like your you've accomplished like the big one, you know. And so then we made my goal playing a set at Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in that goal one bit until 3 days ago. Straight up, I actually thought of it and I said, I'm gonna fucking do that. But I didn't believe it. You know, like I set it up the whatever Mandela me, but I didn't believe it. And I actually, I won't say I fully said, oh, I'm gonna fucking do that in my head the other day, but I definitely said I could do that. Mm-hmm. You know? It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do it, but it was like, I can for sure. And I'm gonna keep repeating to myself affirmations that I will do it, but that wasn't the thought that I had, so I want to just be more clear on that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a big one, but I think more importantly, I think that's the tangible goal. That's like the one that I can measure. Like once I did it, oh my god, I did it. You know, like once I get that call, I'll be fucking bawling my eyes out probably. But more importantly, I want to have a lot of music out there that people can relate to, that they love, that they like, that makes them feel things, that makes them like man, the way that Elenium made me feel when I was dunking, like dude, like you know, I just loved that shit so much. So I know so many people can relate to me because people who are Elenium fans are diehard Elenium fans. Grant is too. He loves that guy, and like. I like back when Crawl Out of Love came out, I remember being in my car, like that feeling of just like, oh, this is so sick. And like that's for someone else, like, you know, like it's literally just how much I loved his music and how much it made me feel. And it's like, if I can give that feeling of me in that car to somebody else, that's like, and hopefully a lot of people, that'd be so sick.
If you die tomorrow, what are you bummed out that you did or didn't get to do?
Oh, that's interesting.
Or anything else that comes up around that idea.
I'm trying to think.
What makes you like, damn it?
You know what? I have an answer. I have a good answer.
Okay.
I have a really good answer.
I'll be the judge of that.
One of the things about the beginning of the Mr. Nice Guy book that we're reading or whatever was about how the nice guy is usually fairly successful at a lot of things, but never really gets there. That's like the definition of my life. Like, dude, ask anyone. Ask my mother and Johnny. They literally, Chase always like gets so good at something then quits. He gets so good at something then quits. Think it's I've gotten good at a million things and then I quit, but I'm never like the best. Like Call of Duty. I mean, even this year playing again when I'm like older and I haven't been grinding as much. I'm iridescent, so I'm like top 1%. But when I was younger, I was that good, and me and Grant, I mean, talk about limiting beliefs with Grant. We could have, and then it's funny because now he's like, dude, we could easily been pros. Like, yeah, we said that, and you like because he didn't want it that bad. I thought like I just kind of followed him. I'm the younger brother. I was like, And you always said it, and even later in life, you're like, yo, bro, just stream. Your raging is hilarious, which it is, dude. He'd be famous, bro. He'd be Fizzerp 2.0 for the people who know Call of Duty. You'd get it.
I mean, yeah. Then he has fear of success because then, like, what are people gonna think? You know.
It's interesting, but yeah. So Call of Duty is one. I mean, League of Legends, I'm diamond, so I'm top whatever percent. Not that I ever wanted to be pro in that, so it doesn't really count here. It's not like I wanted to make League of Legends in my life. But dunking, same thing. Got really, really good. Quit. Every sport when I was a kid, like I would do a lot of things and just quit. Like hockey, didn't want to go to practices anymore. Like did whatever. School, yeah. School I quit too. That was to pursue bigger things, but it's still, hey, it counts. And yeah, so I think robbing and you want to know what makes this? This is the cherry on top. So I don't know if you know golf. I'm not like super specific. I don't know fully, but this is what I've heard. I'm pretty sure this is true. He's won 3 out of 4 majors, and he was playing in the and he's not that old, but he was playing the Masters yesterday. And it's the only one he hasn't won yet. And I'm pretty sure only like 2 people have won every major, or 2 people have won every major. This could be really wrong, by the way. I'm just whatever. And so he was playing the Masters, and he went into a playoff hole yesterday. So he literally did 18 holes. He actually missed a pretty wouldn't say easy putt, but well, I mean, to pros maybe an easy putt. So choked, and then went to a playoff hole, so OT in golf, and it's like whoever wins that hole wins. And he won, and when he won, like he instantly dropped to his knees, was bawling his eyes out, like just like imagine like all you need is that one piece to be like complete, like you've hit that goal. That'd be like me playing Tomorrowland, let's say. Like I've hit it, like I've gotten there, and to watch him, I was at work and I was watching on TV, and I was watching him walk through the crowd, and like everyone just roaring for him. It was like going nuts, and him just bawling his eyes out as he's walking, just like so happy, you could feel it. I'm like, I want to feel that. I want to feel that. I was like, that would if I robbed myself from feeling that would suck. And so I think being dead, that's the one thing I would regret, is not being able to attain that. Because all I thought in my head is, and I literally said this to my coworker, I was like, man, every human should get to feel that once in their lives, because that looks fucking incredible, you know? Because I could feel it like secondhand coming from him. Like imagine being him, like just like, and I felt that with. I mean, I felt the mini version of that when the remix, or no, yeah, when I told you the other day, I sent a remix I made to Lockbox, and he was like, man, the mix on this is great. Dude, the smallest thing ever, but he was just like, yeah, this is great. Like didn't really have that much critique. And to put this into perspective for people who don't know, I've shared my music with multiple like good music producers who have like often given me feedback, and there's always been quite a lot of feedback, and so I'm just like, oh man, like I'm still not there, not good enough. And then to finally have someone be like, who's also critiqued like a few other of my songs, be like, wow, this one's great. I told Jordan, I was like, dude, I felt like I actually did cry. I was like, I felt so good. I was like, man, I finally got what I've been looking for. I got a good mix. and that was really important for me, because I'm like, hey, I can do it. And I'm sure that's literally 1/1000th or 10,000th of what I'd feel if I actually reached playing Tomorrowland, you know?
Yeah, that moment for me was when I won Ghetto Games.
Ghetto Games. I knew it.
Yeah.
With the crowd rushing you after the convertible double up X.
Yeah.
I was literally, you know what's funny? I remember where I was for that, and I was going nuts. I was a skate sharpener at Skater's Edge, and I had it on our computer, like by the cache, and I was like, I don't care what you guys say, like I have to watch this, and they all understood. They're like, whatever. So I wasn't even working. I was just like standing there, and when you hit that and just seeing the camera pan you, and you're just like, I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Really? That's cool.
Well, because like you were trying to, like the whole, it was so much anticipation. It's like, oh, YouTube dunker, and then like to go against all of the best and win, and like decisively, was sick.
Yeah, that was the craziest moment. And the other thing on top of that is like the time I tried jumping over a car before that, I got knocked out.
Oh yeah. I think that's just more to the pie, you know?
Exactly. Like, oh man, it was. Okay, so this will be the last question. As someone who has a big interest in making music after dunking, for me, what advice do you have for me?
To lean on me.
There.
And not care to do that, especially for where I'm gonna be when you start, or you know, whatever. I mean, you've already started, but to like really just do that. Because for me, the problem was, I mean, dude, I tried to lean on people. I tried to like ask people, dude, so many producers are whack, man. Like, just like hiding what they're doing and like not offering help, and like it just pisses me off. And I'm gonna shout out heavily Strigi, who and Fihu, I think it's Fihu. Anyway, like they brought me into this little, like, honestly, a very small Discord community. It's like, I don't know, we're like less than 20 people, and man, I messaged Drew Strigi like any question, and like let me just like show an example. I'm going to show an actual example of this, because it's like, it's insane how much this guy cares and is willing to help me when like we just started talking like a few years ago. Let me find this. You would expect if you ask someone a question, you know, like they maybe wouldn't like give you the biggest answer or whatever. But the amount of times that I would send him a question. Oh wait, is this even him? Like, it's actually insane. I don't know how close I can be to the camera, but if you can, I don't know if you can see that, but if you can, it's like I ask a small question, I get an absolute essay of an answer. I ask a small question, I get literally like a huge essay in detail explaining the things, his knowledge, and this guy is like one of the best producers I've ever heard, by the way. And like another small answer and just like essay back. Like, dude, and this is like, he answers pretty quickly too. Yeah. Like, it's not like whatever. And then like another small question, and that's like, dude, like, that's just how it is. And it's just, I feel like I'm annoying, and then I've just realized I have to stop being like that, because I don't even think, he's one of those people, he doesn't want me to feel like that. He just like, he's glad to help. Mm-hmm. And like, that is just like, bro, the fact that I have someone that I could just go to, and especially who's like similar genre to me, who can give me advice, is just like incredible. And I think that's what I would do for you, obviously, except even it could be even more hands-on, because we literally live beside each other. Even if we didn't, we FaceTime, whatever, I could explain it to you. Because the intricacies of music production is like insane. Like the amount of like small details, like me just giving you like a brief answer about something is like it's hard to like get information out of that, especially in a world of music production that is so different. I've heard about, you don't even want to know, amount of advice from mixing and masterers that are completely contradictory with each other, and they're all pros and they're all the best. And I'm like, I don't understand. Who do I listen to? Like, what do I do? Do I put nothing on my master? Do I put this on my master? Do I only do oversampling this much amount? Do I not oversample? Dude, the amount of shit. I'm just like, I'm getting too much information here.
Yeah.
Which actually would also be another piece of advice, would be like, maybe find people you like in genres that you like, that you want to sound like, and like just like do what they do. They sound great already. If they have information out there, do what they do, because if you start listening to all these different other people, you're going to start getting confused.
Since it sounds like you have like a nice little community of people, so do you think I should try to find like a little community of people who makes similar fast music like that?
100%. I think.
How do I do that?
Especially because, I mean, I don't know how you are, but I think community is important. Like, feeling like you're part of something is important. Like with dunking, you're obviously part of that community. I was adopted into that community like very easily, and so I felt like part of it. With music, I had nowhere to go, no one to talk to. I was so isolated, and I didn't, the fear of like, am I good enough to be part of this community, was just like withholding me from just like, hey, take that leap, like join, be a new guy there, be whatever. And I think that's really important, to be honest. But like, find one you really like, because you join someone, they're just like, some people are just really not my vibe. Like the shit they do, I'm like, we're both like, we like doing things alone a lot, and the amount of people like lean on each other a lot. It's like, I want to work on projects and like do things with people, but I don't like want to spend every day just like hanging out in the Discord talking about music while I'm making music. Like, I don't need that. Like, I want to lock in by myself.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want it. Like, but a lot of people do. That's what they do. Like, people message me being like, Zoom tonight, or you want to like Zoom and like work on stuff, or like work on our own thing as we Zoom. Or like, that's like distracting to me.
Yeah, to me, it would be super distracting.
Yeah. So, but and then I feel like, and this isn't, I felt bad. I'm like, oh, now I have to do it. And I did it a couple times, and I was like, oh, I really didn't like that. And then that's another point of me trying to please other people and not just doing what's right for me. I should have just been like, no, sorry, it's not my thing.
Yeah, man. The time where I decided to start, we're going back to like a past point now, where I decided to start making like dunking my priority. This is like the beautiful thing about like trying to master something and you make it the priority. It like forces you to evolve in so many interesting ways. And one of them is that like, I don't know, if I'm at a court trying these dunks over and over again, and there'll be like a bunch of little kids being like, do this, do this, do this. I would get nowhere if I was constantly just doing what they wanted to do all the time.
Thanks.
Especially if I'm prepping for a dunk contest or doing this. And I remember Christian was there one time. He's like, oh man, he's going to do a bunch of dunks for the kids now when he's got like this dunk he just like wants to do. And then he was like, oh, he didn't at all. I'll give them one at the end of the day or whatever, you know. Let them
That's
stick
just what
around.
happened almost every time. It was at the end, like, okay, you go stand there. It's like, I'll go jump over you. Ah.
Yeah, no, I'll do it, but like, you know, I also have an understanding that like this is not just for me, but like I'm doing dunking so I can get somewhere, so I can give it back to people. So I'm going to do a bigger ripple effect later on, anyways. So it was a bigger picture thing, but so sometimes people will come up to me in a dunk session and they'll start talking to me a bunch. When I'm in the zone, I don't sound nice. I sound pretty mean, and I even if I try really hard not to.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Yeah, and people understand. I'm like, and I'll be like, sorry if I sound like a dickhead right now, but like I just need to dunk or whatever. And I will say it's super rough sometimes, and I have to accept that I sound like a dickhead,
100%.
which sucks because my whole life all I wanted to do was just like please people so bad. Like I was genuinely a full-on tool, and I've been called a tool by like a past girlfriend too. It's like, oh, it's okay, he's just a tool. When I went and chase the volleyball, I was like, don't worry, I got it. Like, and literally had a girlfriend call me a tool. It's like, nah, he's a tool. he'll do it. And I was like, oof, that still wasn't enough to change it, but it was like a hint, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, now I don't do that, especially for dunking, where I'm like, I'm willing to sound like a dickhead, and afterwards, if I have the chance, I will go, hey, I'm so sorry, man. When I'm in the zone, I sound like a huge dickhead, and then I'll have the chat and everything. So in this situation, now with the rest of my life, where if somebody be like, hey, you want to Zoom? I'd be quick to be like, I might sound like a dickhead, but like, no, sorry, that's not how I do it. That's not how I like to do things.
But I actually think that's like better.
It's better, and it's fine.
No, but it's direct. You're not, and like even saying it that way is better because hey, I set that boundary that I don't do that, and now they know, and that's okay. And they're not like gonna be mad about it. They'd be more mad if you kept being like, oh, maybe next time, oh, maybe next time, and then you never did it.
So many people play that game, like, but then this, but then that, and then oh god, it messes everything else up. It's basically, it feels like a lie at that point. You know what I mean? Yeah, it feels like a lie.
You're making them feel worse. You're making them feel not wanted.
It feels like keeping up a lie.
Yeah.
Like you just lie and you just got to keep it up and do it again and again. And like, I figured out a long time ago that like, that's just not the way to do it. That's not how to keep yourself accountable.
Not only that, let me make this even better. With like friends I have, like I don't love going out a lot of the time. When I do, like I'm fun. I'm a fun guy, dude. I'd want me around too. Just saying.
Yeah.
But they keep asking me like do things. I always go, oh, like, you know, sorry, maybe next time, whatever. And then what happens is that builds up, like we said, and then eventually I feel like I have to do it. And then when I feel like I have to do it and I go, guess what? I'm being miserable because I don't want to be there. And it's making it even worse. You're making it, not only are you building all this distrust and like the shitty emotion from like not doing it, and then when you do it, it's even worse because you're acting like a bitter, whatever's bitter.
Literally, completely. Okay. Oh no, I lied. That wasn't the last question. So, give me 1 to 3 songs that if people were to go listen to something right now, what would be the ones you want them to listen to? Where can they find it?
Oh, I forgot about that question. Darn it. Well, the number one is not even out yet. Does that count?
Sure. I mean, that would be one of them, yeah.
I've shared a few glimpses of it. I played it at 5 Cent City. It's currently in the works. I don't know. Might be a collaboration, might not. But it's You're Everything. And it's just like, the song hits hard.
It does.
And you know what's interesting? Actually, this is I want to say
that's not out. Jesus, Chase.
I know, it was like 3 years ago. It's a great song, dude. It's really, it's really good. This is an interesting thing. Okay, I feel like a lot of people, there's a bunch of different ways you can make music, but I think what's cool is like with this one, because like I found the lyrics on Splice, or the vocal. And a lot of times I feel like people have like this, they're thinking about what they want to write about, especially in melodic genres, obviously, and how they want that to feel, and then they start creating. But I think that sometimes you could just start creating, and then you could start molding into something that it's making you feel.
That's what I do.
That's what I'm saying. So like with this one, it was like You Are Everything, and it was like right after Escapade. So I just went to a festival, and at first I was like, oh, it's just a cool vocal, so I was using it, nothing more than that. And then I started making it about how great my girlfriend was with me, and how much I enjoy her. And then I started like really writing about that, and then like the amount of emotion I can get out of that was just like, it was just sick. Like, oh, and then like when you get clear on what it's about, and really know what you want it to feel like, it stops feeling like you're like, oh, did this sound better? Did this sound better? It's like, no, this needs to be here. This needs to be here. This needs to be here. It stops feeling like a question of like what should be here. It starts feeling like, no, this is like what's meant to be here.
Interesting.
Which is like really cool. You know? Which I can get lost in sometimes, especially if you start like over mixing stuff. It's like, no, like just what's right, like what feels right. And that's a hard skill to have. Like that's why the real artists, like the John Bellions and those guys, like Millennium, those guys are crazy. Like just you want to talk about locking in, those guys lock in, like, and they lock in like emotionally, you know? It's really cool. But yeah, so You're Everything.
I like Senescence. That one's fucking sick.
Senescence.
Senescence, is that how you say it?
Yeah, because senescent is like the feeling of, I believe, I'm pretty sure it's the feeling of like getting older.
Ah.
And then it's not a word. Senescence is not a word, but senescent is a word, and essence is a word.
Ah.
So it was like, to me, it was like the essence of growing older. That was the whole idea behind it.
Cool.
Because I've just been like, you know, I just changed. So yeah, I mean, I didn't even answer, but yeah, that would be one of them too for sure. I was feeling just like, yeah, I was transitioning from dunking to music, and just like, oh, I'm just like getting older, and I wanted it to be like this fun little like chill vibe, and then make it into this big like dramatic. It's like you're blossoming like a flower, just like coming out and just like with that big moment. I remember I was sharing it with a few people in a Zoom call, in a group meeting we had. People were just like doing shares of their music, and they're like, okay, like vibing in the beginning, and then when that part came, like, oh, okay, like, damn, that's sick. And that's kind of the feeling I wanted. Those are my favorite feelings in music, period, is that.
Interesting.
Is those big like, yeah. Like, I love that so much. So yeah, Senescence would definitely be another one. And then I'm trying to think, what other ones do I have out right now? What was the most?
I mean, there's the Jaws remix, right?
The Jaws remix, bro. It's just gross. Like, obviously, it could still be better, like with certain things. But I mean, every artist, every artist over here will say that, unless they have someone like mixing their music. But any artist who's like in the works, whatever. I mean, look at it this way: Owl City Firefly. There's literally a note that's out of key in the song, and it's like how huge is that song? Yeah. And people will always be like, oh, but like I messed something up. But that's like part of it, you know? Like Led Zeppelin, tons of songs they have where they're out of key and people still love it. It's
I think I saw a video recently of Benny Blanco where he said a song that they put out, they gave them like the wrong file.
Dude, Benny Blanco is another genius.
Oh yeah, went on the radio, and that's the vocals or something like that was like fully out of timing, like just not even hitting on the beat, and it went number one.
Dude.
And he's like, oh, it's just about the feeling. It just makes people feel like a certain way, you know?
Dude, Benny Blanco was talking about the song with Kesha he had, and he's like, man, we didn't even have, like, she didn't send us any vocals for the bridge. And they told me I had to send it to them in like 30 minutes or like an hour. So I just made this. It's like the sickest bridge ever. I'm like, bro, what? It's like that. No, I don't know. I can't do it. I'm not doing that. If I wasn't sick, I would reenact it. But yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, his videos have been pretty enlightening, to be honest. He just has like the biggest songs and all like with I think it was one with Adam Levine too, where he got the moves like Jagger.
That's him. That's Benny Blanco too.
Yeah. So
he's so good.
I know, he's got all these songs, and he shows the beginning, like before there was anything, and all they had was got the moves like Jagger, and the rest. They just said, they didn't even say words. He just sounded like it. So much so that I thought that this was the original song because I don't hear lyrics. And then he played the original, and then you can actually hear the words. But phonetically, like the A's and the O's and whatever landed all in the same spots. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That is
cool. Know? Yeah, so you just make everything sound nice, and then you place the words in afterwards. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, back to the song. Jaws remix, Higher for Your Love, is that what it's called? I forget, honestly. Jesus. But yeah, it's my most streamed on SoundCloud, and I just think that I think I put a lot. Dude, I even made a. It was part of a remix contest, and I made another remix for Alaska song by Trivecta that like I put so many hours into, and it just never, still not out. So probably should do that. But yeah, this Jaws remix, like I think I pulled like 5 all-nighters for that one
Sheesh.
in like a span of a month. I mean that because that's the only time the time thing actually matters is for a remix contest like that, or like when you have a date to reach. But yeah, that's why I think it felt so rough when he said it's pretty good, but not great, because I'm like, put so much fucking effort into this. But after reflecting, obviously, it's still sick. And yeah, I think I put a lot of effort into what I wanted from it, and I got like the where I landed was like what I wanted from it, and that's cool. Like I need to do that more. Is where like, how did I want it to sound? I said, okay, it's Jaws. First of all, how do I approach this as like it's a contest? I want to win. How do I win? I was like, I want to still be me, but how do I be me where like maybe he'll like it more? And he has a dubstep background, and he's more like bassy and stuff. And so I wanted to do something where like I do some melodic Millennium shit, but it's not melodic Millennium shit, because trust me, when he did the review, the amount of times he said, "Oh my god, another Millennium guy. Oh my god, another wannabe Millennium." Like he kept saying that shit. I was like, "Oh fuck, what are you gonna think about me?" But he literally said when he said, "He's you know what? I'm not gonna say that about you because I can tell you tried to make it different," which was like, dude, thank God. That was like one of my goals, was like that exactly, for it to feel like that, but like not. You could tell it's not that.
Right.
So it has that like griminess that's like more aggressive than you would hear in like most Millennium songs, and then it has like a drum and bass part, which he thought was ridiculous. He thought it was completely out of place. But then other people commented and say that's a sick part. So I was like, I don't fucking know, But for him, it made no sense, so I didn't like it. And then the ending part, like to me, I just listened to it again, and I was like, it sounds like I'm ripping the electric guitar hard, and I just like sampled all these different notes from an electric guitar and then just like used them and pitched them the way I wanted them. And
Cool.
It sounds like I'm ripping the guitar. I was like, that's so sick. And the fact that I did that and spent all that time doing that is fucking cool, because that is tedious, super tedious to like use audio clips like that and make it work. So yeah, and it's a sick melody too. And I feel like I was able to really hone in on like the being present while making that, and I got where I wanted. Wasted way too much sleep, but got where I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, I love that song. All right.
No, no.
So, if you guys want to check out any of his stuff, actually, no, go check out all of his stuff, or I will find you and I will fight you. And it's in the description down below. I'll leave some of his songs, the ones that we talked about, maybe a couple of others, and the links to his Instagram, Spotify, all that stuff. Chase, thanks a lot for coming on. Appreciate it. Thanks for being my first guest. Super cool.
Favorite brother. Maybe not.
And I guess that's a wrap. And again, I'm going to need you guys to help me out with the name for this podcast, because I don't have one yet, but I wasn't going to hold that back, or I wasn't going to let that hold me back from starting a podcast at all. So if you guys like this, let me know. If you guys have any suggestions on what to change, let me know. I'm just winging this. I want to get better at this. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.